Welcome, weary traveler. You have walked a long and dusty road today, carrying the heavy burdens of the waking world. But here, at the edge of the ancient starlit woods, you can finally set those burdens down. Take a slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs with the cool, pine-scented air, and release it, letting every lingering worry fade into the twilight. Tonight, we will wander together into a deeply enchanted forest, inspired by the quiet magic of forgotten fairy tales. Listen to the soft rustling of the ancient pines and follow the gentle, glowing path of a hidden stream. You are entirely safe here. Just close your eyes, listen, and drift away. The journey begins just as the final golden embers of the sun begin to melt away beneath the horizon. You stand at the very edge of the waking world, where the hard, dusty road you have traveled all day finally comes to a gentle end. Behind you lies the noise, the rushing, and the endless demands of the day, fading now into a distant, insignificant memory. Before you stands the magnificent threshold of the ancient wold, a vast and ancient forest that has slept quietly in this valley for centuries. The sky above the towering tree line is a breathtaking canvas of transition, painting itself in soft, bruised purples, sky blue greys, and the deepest, richest shades of indigo. It is that perfect, fleeting moment of twilight, the hour when the earth itself sighs and prepares to rest. You can feel the invitation in the cool, still air, calling you away from the light and into the comforting embrace of the shadows. As you linger at this boundary, you notice the profound shift in the atmosphere. The heat of the afternoon has surrendered entirely to a soothing, crisp coolness that brushes gently against your cheeks and hands. With every slow breath you take, your lungs are filled with the purest, most grounding scents of the natural world. There is the rich, damp aroma of ancient soil, the sweet, earthy fragrance of decaying leaves, and the sharp, clean perfume of countless pine needles. It is a scent that immediately calms the restless mind, an olfactory lullaby that tells your body it is time to power down. The colossal pine trees stand before you like silent, benevolent guardians, their massive trunks rising like pillars of a grand, natural cathedral. They have witnessed the passing of countless seasons, and in their immense presence, all of your immediate worries seem beautifully small and wonderfully unimportant. You take your first deliberate step forward, leaving the hard, unforgiving gravel of the human world behind. Your leather boots press down onto a thick, unbroken carpet of vivid green moss. The sensation is incredibly soft, yielding gently beneath your weight with a faint, rhythmic crunch that is immensely satisfying to the ear. This mossy path is a continuous velvet ribbon weaving its way between the roots and stones, offering a guided, safe passage into the heart of the woods. With every step you take upon this cushioned floor, a layer of tension drops from your shoulders. The physical act of walking becomes a hypnotic meditation. Step by step, the rhythm synchronizes with your slowing heartbeat. You do not need to hurry. There is nowhere else you need to be, and absolutely nothing else you need to do, except simply exist in this quiet, walking slumber. As you move deeper into the outer fringe of the forest, the canopy of interlocking branches high above begins to thicken. The leaves and needles form a protective ceiling, filtering out the remaining ambient light of the dusk. Only the softest, warmest fragments of fading amber sunlight manage to slip through the foliage, creating gentle, glowing pools of light on the forest floor. These small islands of warmth guide your eyes, illuminating the intricate patterns of the fern fronds that brush softly against your woven woolen cloak. The light here is never harsh, never demanding. It is the signature muted watercolor palette of a nostalgic painting, full of earthy greens and comforting beiges. The deep, cool shadows are beginning to stretch and lengthen, reaching out across the path to drape the forest in a cozy, insulating blanket of darkness. Listen closely to the symphony of the fading day. It is not the overwhelming silence of an empty room, but rather the rich, ambient drone of a living sanctuary preparing for rest. High above you, an unseen, gentle breeze moves steadily through the crown of the pine trees. It creates a continuous, rushing whisper, a natural wave of sound that ebbs and flows like the calmest ocean tide. This rushing wind washes over your mind, effectively carrying away any intrusive thoughts or lingering anxieties. Beneath this airy canopy, the forest is delightfully hushed. There are no sudden noises, no startling cries. You hear only the comforting rhythmic sound of your own slow footsteps on the moss and the occasional sleepy rustle of a dry leaf settling into the earth. The entire world around you is slowing down, descending gracefully into tranquility. There is a profound sense of safety within these ancient woods. Unlike the perilous forests of old legends, where danger lurked in every shadow, this specific realm has been curated by magic to be a haven of absolute refuge. The menacing creatures and the sharp edges of the wild have been carefully smoothed away. Here, the dense thickets of bushes do not hide predators, but rather offer sheltered nesting places for the innocent, slumbering creatures of the night. The massive, towering trunks of the oaks and pines stand as a fortress wall, completely insulating you from the frantic energy of the modern world outside. You are held in a maternal, protective enclosure. The forest itself is watching over you, a benign and ancient presence that demands nothing from you but your surrender to its peaceful quietude. The air around you continues to cool, carrying the faintest trace of moisture from a hidden source somewhere deep in the valley ahead. This cool air is wonderfully refreshing against your tired eyes, encouraging your eyelids to droop, to become heavy and relaxed. Your breathing is now deep, even, and entirely effortless. As you walk, your shoulders drop away from your ears, your jaw unclenches, and the muscles in your back finally release the tight grip they have held all day. The physical journey inward mirrors your psychological journey. You are untethering from your responsibilities, disconnecting from your schedules and your lists. In this enchanted space, time does not exist in hours or minutes. It exists only in the slow, sweeping passage of the wind, the gradual dimming of the light, and the steady, calming rhythm of your own breath. Now, look up through the dark, silhouetted branches of the canopy. The bruises of the twilight sky have completely given way to the vast, majestic canvas of the deep night. It is a stunning expanse of profound, dark indigo. And there, emerging one by one like tiny, silver pinpricks of hope, are the first stars of the evening. They do not glare or shine too brightly. They merely twinkle with a soft, muted glow, providing a subtle celestial map for your journey. The appearance of the stars signals the final transition. The day is officially over. The night has claimed the forest, bringing with it the gift of deep, restorative rest. You continue to follow the winding, mossy path, feeling perfectly content, perfectly isolated, and perfectly ready to let the gentle darkness wrap around you like a warm, heavy blanket. As you leave the twilight fringe behind and venture deeper into the boundless heart of the ancient wold, the last lingering traces of daylight are gently extinguished. The dense canopy of interlocking pine branches overhead thickens, knitting together to form a magnificent protective ceiling that shuts out the remnants of the waking world. You are fully immersed now in the profound, comforting embrace of the deep night. The visual landscape transforms from the soft, fading purples of dusk into a rich, immersive tapestry of cool indigos, deep oceanic blues, and the darkest, most soothing shades of slate. This darkness is not empty, nor is it frightening. It is a velvety, insulating blanket that invites your overstimulated eyes to rest. You realize that you no longer need the bright, glaring light of day to find your way. The forest itself provides all the illumination you require, offering a soft, ethereal silver glow that filters down from the heavens, guiding you with an ancient, quiet certainty. Towering all around you are the colossal, ancient pine trees, the silent, enduring sentinels of this enchanted realm. Their massive, rough-hewn trunks rise upward like the pillars of an immense, forgotten temple, disappearing into the starry darkness above. These giants have stood in this exact spot for untold centuries, weather-beaten and resilient, witnessing the quiet passage of eras. Standing amidst their towering presence, a profound sense of perspective washes over you. The trivial anxieties, the hurried deadlines, and the loud demands of your modern life shrink down until they completely vanish into the vast, timeless patience of the wood. The forest does not rush. It simply exists, breathing slowly in and out with the passing of the seasons, and it invites you to share in this unhurried, peaceful existence. You feel wonderfully small, safely hidden, and completely protected within this fortress of ancient timber. The path beneath your feet begins to change, sloping gracefully downward as it leads you deeper into the hidden valley. Here, the earth has been shaped by the colossal, winding roots of the pine trees, which break through the mossy soil to form a magnificent natural staircase. These ancient roots are thick, smooth, and pale in the starlight, worn down by the gentle passage of time and the soft steps of forgotten travelers. You place your medieval leather boots carefully upon each wooden step. The physical act of descending this winding rooted path acts as a powerful hypnotic cue for your mind. With every single step you take downward into the valley, you feel yourself descending one level deeper into relaxation. Step by step, you are walking down into the quietest corners of your own subconscious, leaving the surface level of wakefulness far, far behind. As the air settles into the hollows of the valley, the temperature drops just a fraction more, carrying with it a symphony of rich, grounding fragrances. You breathe in deeply, and your senses are flooded with the pure, untainted essence of the wilderness. It is the sharp, medicinal clarity of crushed pine needles, the deep, loamy richness of damp, ancient soil, and the subtle, sweet decay of autumn leaves resting peacefully on the forest floor. This scent is an aromatic anchor, tethering your wandering thoughts exclusively to the present moment. It clears your mind of clutter, expanding your lungs, and signaling to your nervous system that you are in a place of pure, natural sanctuary. The rhythmic rise and fall of your chest synchronizes effortlessly with the slow, invisible pulse of the surrounding woods. Listen closely to the shifting acoustic landscape of the night. High above, hidden within the darkest canopy, the wind continues its tireless, sweeping motion. It brushes against millions of pine needles, creating a vast, oceanic rushing sound that ebbs and flows with hypnotic regularity. This natural white noise is a continuous, soothing whisper that washes completely over you, dissolving any remaining tension in your jaw, your neck, and your shoulders. Beneath this aerial ocean of sound, your own slow footsteps create a steady, grounding rhythm. The soft, damp crunch of the moss has been replaced by the solid, muffled thud of your boots meeting the ancient wood of the tree roots and the packed earthen path. It is the slow, steady drumbeat of a journey moving relentlessly toward profound slumber. As you stand still for a single, lingering moment upon a wide wooden step, you notice the very first solitary sounds of the nocturnal inhabitants. From somewhere deep within the velvet shadows, a single cricket begins to sing. Its chirp is not the frantic, overwhelming chorus of a hot summer evening, but rather a slow, languid, and deeply spaced rhythm. A few moments later, another answers from a distant thicket. These sparse, isolated notes emphasize the vast quietness of the forest, rather than interrupting it. They are the gentle, rhythmic metronomes of the night world, a lullaby specifically designed for those who wander under the stars. The creatures of the wood are not hunting or scurrying, they are simply settling down, singing themselves to sleep in their hidden, cozy burrows, and their peace is highly contagious. You tilt your head back, gazing upward through the towering, dark silhouettes of the pine trunks. Through the occasional gaps in the thick foliage, the true majesty of the night sky reveals itself. The darkness above is pierced by countless points of pure silver light. These are not the glaring lights of a city, but the gentle, ancient stars that have watched over this forest since the beginning of time. They twinkle with a soft, muted glow, forming a protective celestial canopy over your head. In the ancient tales, the stars were often seen as benevolent guardians, watching over lost travelers and ensuring they came to no harm. You feel that protection now. The vastness of the universe above does not make you feel isolated. Instead, it makes you feel wonderfully held, a cherished part of a quiet, sleeping world. Your journey continues down the winding route staircase, your movements becoming slower, heavier, and more deliberate. The muscles in your legs feel pleasantly tired, a comfortable weariness that comes from a long, satisfying day of travel. You allow gravity to gently pull you downward, surrendering to the descent. As you near the bottom of the valley, you notice a subtle shift in the cool air brushing against your face. It becomes slightly more humid, carrying the distinct, refreshing scent of pure flowing water. A new sound begins to weave itself into the ambient rushing of the wind and the slow chirping of the crickets. It is a faint, melodic babbling, a continuous, liquid whisper calling to you from the darkness ahead. The enchanted stream is near, ready to guide your weary steps into the deepest parts of the night and into the deepest, most restorative stages of your sleep. As you step off the final, massive wooden route of the ancient pine staircase, your boots sink softly into the damp, incredibly plush earth of the valley floor. The descent has brought you into a hidden sanctuary, a deeply sheltered pocket of the wold, where the wind from the high canopy above is reduced to the faintest, most comforting sigh. The air down here is noticeably different. It is cooler, heavier, and completely saturated with the incredibly fresh, reviving scent of pure, untainted water, mingling with the sweet aroma of wild mint and wet stone. You take a long, slow breath, letting this pristine air fill your lungs completely, feeling it cleanse away the last lingering remnants of the day's exhaustion. Your body feels delightfully heavy, grounded, and entirely at peace in this secluded nocturnal haven. The darkness wraps around you like a protective cloak, woven from deep indigo and slate grey, completely insulating you from the demands of the waking world. You pause for a moment, simply standing still in the thick moss, tuning your ears to the new, delicate sound that has been drawing you downward. Just a few paces ahead, parting a dense curtain of weeping ferns, you discover the source of the cool air and the gentle, melodic sound. It is a hidden, enchanted brook, weaving its way gracefully through the uneven forest floor. In the old tales, the springs and streams of the deep woods were often places of profound transformation and ancient magic, sometimes hiding hidden curses or mischievous spirits. But here, in this curated realm of absolute safety, the water holds only the purest, most benevolent magic. It is a guiding force, completely stripped of peril. As you approach the bank, you notice that the water possesses a faint, ethereal luminescence of its own. It is not a bright, jarring light, but rather a soft, warm, and pulsing amber glow that seems to emanate from the very depths of the stream. This magical light barely illuminates the surrounding ferns, creating tiny, dancing shadows that play peacefully along the mossy banks. The water is impossibly clear, a liquid ribbon of glass flowing smoothly under the watchful gaze of the ancient trees. You turn your body to align with the flow of the stream, deciding to use this glowing, liquid path as your silent guide through the deepest parts of the forest. With your next step, your medieval leather boots crunch softly on the damp, smooth pebbles that line the water's edge. The acoustic landscape shifts beautifully. The sound of the babbling brook is shallow, playful, and incredibly resonant. It is a continuous, bubbling murmur, water happily tripping over rounded stones and sliding through narrow gaps in the ancient roots. This sound is the ultimate natural lullaby. It does not demand your attention. Instead, it provides a perfect, continuous curtain of white noise that effortlessly masks any stray, anxious thoughts trying to enter your mind. You listen closely to the rhythm of the current, noticing how it ebbs and flows in a hypnotic, unpredictable, yet entirely comforting pattern. It washes over your consciousness, smoothing out the rough edges of your mind, just as the water itself has smoothed the stones over countless centuries. Looking directly down into the shallow, glowing stream, you are captivated by the intricate details of this miniature underwater world. The bed of the brook is lined with flawlessly smooth, round pebbles in muted shades of slate, pale grey, and earthen brown. Between the stones lies a bed of fine, silvery sand that glitters faintly in the dim light. The gentle current ripples continuously over this mosaic, distorting the shapes in a slow, mesmerizing dance. Where the water pools in slightly deeper, quieter eddies, it acts as a perfect dark mirror. In these still pockets, you can see the reflection of the silver stars scattered across the night sky far above, mingling beautifully with the stream's own warm, ambient glow. It is as if the stream is carrying a piece of the cosmos right here on the forest floor. Watching the continuous, effortless flow of the water encourages your own mind to let go of its rigid grip on reality. You are learning to flow, to bypass obstacles without resistance, and to simply drift along the path of least effort. Your physical journey continues at a wonderfully slow, languid pace. The terrain along the riverbank is forgiving and soft, a mixture of thick, feathery moss and damp soil that cushions every single footfall. Occasionally, your boot brushes against the smooth, wet surface of a larger river stone, grounding you in the physical reality of this magical space. The rhythmic, alternating pressure of your slow footsteps harmonizes perfectly with the endless babbling of the water beside you. You do not need to look far ahead into the darkness. You do not need to worry about navigating or finding your way. The enchanted stream is doing all the work for you, serving as a luminous, winding thread through the labyrinth of the ancient timber. All you are required to do is exist in this present moment, placing one foot gently in front of the other, feeling the deep, comforting chill of the night air on your face, and surrendering entirely to the hypnotic movement of the journey. As you walk further along the bank, the immense scale of the surrounding forest seems to embrace you even tighter. The colossal trunks of the pine and oak trees stand like silent sentinels on either side of the waterway, their high canopies completely obscuring the outside world. The outside world, with its loud noises, bright lights, and endless rushing, feels like it belongs to another lifetime. In this hidden valley, alongside this ancient glowing brook, there is only peace. The continuous, gentle forward motion of the water serves as a profound physical metaphor for your own descent into sleep. You are drifting steadily away from the shores of wakefulness, carried along by a gentle, irresistible current of relaxation. Your eyelids grow heavier with every passing minute. Your breathing deepens to match the slow, rhythmic pulse of the forest, and your entire body feels incredibly heavy, safe, and ready for profound, unbroken slumber. The stream flows on, and you flow effortlessly with it, deeper and deeper into the quiet night. Your journey continues in perfect harmony with the steady, gentle flow of the enchanted brook. You walk slowly along the soft, yielding riverbank, matching your pace to the languid movement of the water. The night has fully settled over the ancient wold, draping the world in a magnificent, seamless cloak of dark, cooling shadows. Yet, within this profound darkness, there is no fear, only an overwhelming sense of sanctuary and quiet relief. The air in this hidden valley is incredibly still, heavy with the sweet fragrance of moss and the mineral scent of the clear stream. With every breath you take, this soothing night air fills your lungs, dissolving the last stubborn knots of tension hidden within your shoulders. The relentless urgency of your waking life, with all its loud demands, has been completely washed away, carried off by the silent currents of the woodland air. Here, in the deepest heart of the night, you are merely a quiet observer, a welcomed guest in a realm where time itself has mercifully gone to sleep. As you place one foot carefully in front of the other, you become keenly aware of the rich, tactile sensations surrounding you. The path beside the waterway is thickly carpeted with a lush sea of ancient ferns. Their long, feathery fronds bow gracefully under the weight of the evening dew, leaning out across the mossy trail. With each deliberate step, your sturdy medieval leather boots brush softly against the delicate leaves. It creates a subtle, rhythmic whispering sound, a gentle brushing that harmonizes flawlessly with the endless, bubbling melody of the nearby water. You can feel the soft resistance of the foliage against your homespun woolen cloak, a comforting friction that anchors your mind firmly to the present moment. You are physically grounded, walking a tangible path through an enduring landscape. The sheer weight of your historical garments, the thick wool and sturdy leather, acts like a weighted blanket for your spirit, providing a deep somatic comfort that encourages your muscles to surrender their grip and sink into a state of profound relaxation. Looking slightly ahead, you notice a wondrous change taking place along the edges of the winding path. Emerging from the darkest moss-draped crevices between the roots, a new source of gentle illumination begins to reveal itself. Small, delicate clusters of wild mushrooms are scattered along the riverbank, emitting a breathtaking bioluminescent glow. They radiate a soft, warm, and pulsing amber light. This is the quiet, benevolent magic of the ancient forest, revealing itself only to those who walk with a peaceful heart. The light is never sharp or blinding. Rather, it is as soft and diffused as a candle burning behind frosted glass. These tiny golden beacons cast miniature pools of warmth onto the dark earth, illuminating the intricate, lace-like patterns of the fern leaves and the wet surfaces of the river stones. They serve as a natural, luminous breadcrumb trail, guiding your weary steps safely through the deep woods. You do not need to strain your eyes or worry about stumbling. The forest itself is lighting the way, offering a protective radiance that whispers to your subconscious, assuring you that you are entirely safe. The visual harmony of this scene is a masterpiece of nocturnal tranquility, painted in the most soothing, muted tones imaginable. The warm, golden honey glow of the mushrooms stands in breathtaking contrast to the vast, encompassing coolness of the night. Everywhere you look, the shadows are composed of rich, deep indigos, velvety purples, and the darkest, most calming shades of oceanic blue. These cool colours recede into the distance, making the forest feel infinitely spacious, while the small pockets of amber light bring a sense of cozy, intimate warmth right to your feet. It is a visual lullaby, a perfect balance of dark and light that practically commands your overactive mind to slow down and rest. Watching the interplay of these soft watercolor hues dancing across the surface of the stream is deeply hypnotic. The warm reflections stretch and distort on the rippling water, creating a mesmerizing, slow-motion display of liquid light. As you gaze into these glowing pools amidst the sea of dark blue, your eyelids grow heavier, willingly succumbing to the enchanting beauty of the woodland palette. Listen deeply to the silence that frames these gentle sounds. The vast ancient wold acts as an immense acoustic sanctuary, a thick barrier of timber and earth that completely absorbs the frantic noise of the outside world. Beneath the distant sigh of the wind in the canopy, the immediate world around you is defined entirely by the soothing resonance of the enchanted brook and the soft, repetitive brushing of your footsteps through the ferns. This continuous curtain of sound is the ultimate remedy for an exhausted mind. It sweeps away the echoes of your daily worries, replacing anxious thoughts with the pure, uncomplicated rhythm of nature. You find your own breathing naturally aligning with the slow, steady pulse of the water. Inhale deeply, drawing in the cool, glowing magic of the forest. Exhale completely, letting go of any remaining physical tension, any lingering doubts, any thoughts of tomorrow. There is only the here and now. There is only the soft path, the warm light, and the endless, comforting song of the stream. The journey forward becomes an effortless, floating progression. Your legs move automatically, guided by the winding, luminous waterway, requiring absolutely no conscious effort or direction. The deeper you travel along this glowing path, the more you feel your own boundaries begin to blur, melting softly into the tranquil environment around you. You are becoming a seamless part of the sleeping forest, a silent shadow moving gracefully through the amber-lit ferns. The urge to rest is no longer a distant thought, it is a profound physical heaviness spreading wonderfully through your limbs. Your shoulders sink down, completely relaxed. Your jaw is unclenched. The space between your eyes is smooth and untroubled. Ahead, the stream bends gracefully around a massive shadowed structure, hinting at a secure haven waiting just around the corner. But for now, you simply continue to walk this beautiful dreamscape. You are safe. You are hidden. You are enveloped in the profound, ancient peace of the wold, ready to drift away into the deepest, most restorative slumber your body has ever known. Let the golden light guide you. Let the peaceful night embrace you. The enchanted stream leads you deeper still, winding gracefully around a massive, shadowed structure that seems to rise out of the very earth like a living mountain. As you round the final bend, the waterway slows its playful babbling, its surface becoming as smooth and dark as a sheet of polished obsidian. Standing here, rooted at the water's edge, is a colossal oak tree, an ancient sentinel that has stood as a witness to the passing of 1,000 years. This is no ordinary timber, it is a sacred pillar of the wold, a tree of life that serves as the silent frame of this entire woodland civilization. Its trunk is so wide that 10 men could not link hands around it, and its gnarled, heavy branches stretch outward like protective arms, cradling the very stars in their leafy grip. You feel a sudden, profound urge to stop your journey here, drawn toward the immense, grounding energy that radiates from this forest giant. The air around the oak is heavy and still, humming with a frequency of deep, ancient peace that resonates within your own chest. You walk slowly toward the base of the great tree, your boots leaving soft, deep imprints in the mossy soil. The closer you get, the more you appreciate the magnificent architecture of its bark. It is a labyrinth of deep ridges and silvered valleys, a topographical map of a century of storms and sunlit afternoons. You reach out a hand, your medieval linen sleeve brushing against the wood, and press your palm against the rough surface. The bark feels surprisingly warm, as if the tree has spent the entire day drinking in the sun and is now slowly exhaling that heat into the cool night air. Beneath your touch, you can almost imagine the slow, rhythmic pulse of the forest itself, a deep and steady heartbeat that has never once faltered. In German folklore, such trees were often seen as gateways to the divine natural temples, where the noise of the world was replaced by the wisdom of the earth. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the solidity of the oak anchor you to this place, feeling your own spirit begin to settle and take root. As you move around the southern side of the trunk, you discover a magnificent gift hidden within the roots. A large, natural hollow has opened at the base of the tree, forming a perfect semicircular alcove that reaches deep into the heartwood. This is a sanctuary of the highest order, a place of refuge that has protected the vulnerable since the days of old legends. You remember the tales of the brothers Grimm, of sisters hiding in the hollows of ancient trees to escape the world's trials, finding safety and silence within the protective embrace of the wood. The entrance to the hollow is draped with a soft curtain of hanging ivy, which you gently part to reveal the interior. Inside, the space is surprisingly spacious and inviting, illuminated by a faint, ambient amber glow that seems to come from the wood itself. It is a womb of timber, a hidden room designed by nature for the sole purpose of providing rest to the weary traveller. You step inside the hollow, and the transition is immediate and profound. The outside world, though already quiet, vanishes entirely. The thick walls of the oak act as a perfect acoustic insulator, muffling the higher frequencies of the distant wind and the soft babbling of the stream until they become nothing more than a low, comforting hum. The floor of the sanctuary is carpeted with an impossibly thick layer of feathery green moss and dry, golden autumn leaves that have blown in over the seasons. As you lower yourself onto this natural bed, the leaves crunch softly, a dry and rhythmic sound that signals the end of your physical exertion. The scent here is the very essence of the deep-walled rich, sweet and grounding. It is the smell of dry wood, old parchment, and the clean herbal fragrance of the moss. It is an aroma that commands your nervous system to relax, a scent that speaks of safety, history, and the absolute absence of danger. Lying back against the smooth interior of the tree, you look out through the arched entrance of your sanctuary. From this perspective, the forest looks like a beautiful, moving painting. You can see the dark silhouette of the ferns swaying in the night breeze and the silver starlight dancing on the ripples of the stream just a few yards away. A single golden firefly wanders into the hollow, its pulsing light reflecting softly in your eyes as it drifts toward the ceiling of your wooden room. This tiny light is a symbol of hope and divine kindness, a small beacon in the vast darkness that reassures you of your place in the universe. The cool night air brushes past the entrance, but it does not enter. The hollow remains warm and still, a pocket of timeless tranquility. You feel a deep, heavy relaxation spreading through your limbs, from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head. Your breathing becomes a slow, effortless mirror of the wind in the branches high above. The physical boundaries of your body seem to soften and blur as you merge with the sanctuary of the oak. You are no longer a traveller on a path. You are a part of the tree, a part of the moss, a part of the ancient forest floor. This feeling of nesting, of being tucked away in a secret place where the world cannot find you, is the ultimate psychological trigger for sleep. In this hollow there are no clocks, no schedules, and no expectations. There is only the slow, rhythmic passage of the night. You are held in a maternal, wooden embrace that has protected life for centuries, and you are free to surrender everything to it. Your eyelids are now impossibly heavy, closing of their own accord. The darkness of the hollow is warm and welcoming, a soft velvet curtain falling over your consciousness. As you drift on the edge of slumber, you feel the great oak standing guard over you, a silent, powerful protector, ensuring that your rest is deep, restorative, and entirely unbroken. Eventually, the time comes to gently leave the sheltering embrace of the colossal oak tree and continue your slow, peaceful descent through the ancient wold. You step out from the hollow, your medieval leather boots once again finding the soft, mossy path that runs parallel to the enchanted stream. The brief rest within the heartwood has left your body feeling incredibly loose, heavy, and wonderfully lethargic. Every muscle in your legs and back has surrendered its tight, waking grip, leaving you with a comfortable, deeply satisfying weariness that makes every slow step feel like a conscious act of relaxation. The air outside the hollow remains remarkably still and cool, but as you follow the gentle curve of the waterway, the scent of the forest subtly shifts. The rich, earthy aroma of damp pine needles begins to mingle with the faint, nostalgic fragrance of old, sun-baked stone and ancient, weathered timber. It is a smell that speaks of forgotten histories and quiet endurance. You drift forward, guided by the soft, bioluminescent amber glow of the stream, your mind as calm and clear as the shallow water flowing over the silver sand beside you. Just a short distance ahead, the dense curtain of ancient pine branches and towering ferns gradually begins to thin, opening up into a small, secluded forest clearing. Standing silently in the very center of this moonlit space are the beautiful, crumbling remains of an old, half-timbered forester's cottage. This is the quintessential architecture of the old fairy tales, a rustic structure built from thick oak beams and heavy river stones, reminiscent of the hidden dwellings where lost siblings and exiled princes once sought safe refuge from the world. But here, there is absolutely no sense of sorrow or abandonment. Instead, the ruins project a profound feeling of peaceful surrender. Mother Nature has gently and lovingly reclaimed the cottage, weaving thick, vibrant green ivy through the exposed wooden rafters and carpeting the collapsed stone walls in a lush, velvet blanket of soft moss. The structure is no longer a human dwelling. It has become an organic, living extension of the forest itself. Looking at the seamless blend of crumbling stone and thriving foliage, you realize that nothing here is truly lost or destroyed. It is simply resting, returning quietly to the earth in a beautiful, endless cycle of slumber and regrowth. As your eyes wander across the overgrown facade of the ruined cottage, you notice a remarkable source of light that seems to defy the passage of time. Hanging from a sturdy, weathered wooden beam near the open doorway is a single antique iron lantern. Though forgotten by the waking world, the lantern inexplicably burns with a warm, eternal, and magical flame. It casts a soft, pulsing amber glow that reaches out into the cool night, illuminating the delicate, heart-shaped leaves of the climbing ivy and casting long, comforting shadows across the ancient stonework. This solitary beacon of light provides a breathtaking visual contrast to the encompassing darkness of the wood. Against the vast, deep indigo canvas of the nocturnal sky and the cool, shadowy blues of the surrounding forest, the lantern's golden warmth is incredibly inviting. It acts as a visual anchor for your drifting mind, a tiny, glowing hearth that radiates safety, comfort, and absolute protection. Staring into that gentle, flickering amber light, you feel a sympathetic warmth spreading through your own chest, a cozy, internal fire that soothes your nervous system and lulls your active thoughts into a state of hypnotic stillness. You slowly alter your course, stepping away from the soft riverbank to approach the welcoming glow of the ruined cottage. As you do, the terrain beneath your feet transitions from the yielding moss of the forest floor to a pathway of ancient moss-draped stone pavers leading up to the threshold. The acoustic landscape of your journey shifts in perfect, harmonious response. The soft, muffled crunch of your footsteps gives way to a deeper, solid, and incredibly grounding sound as your heavy leather boots meet the ancient stone. It is a slow, rhythmic tapping that echoes very faintly against the remaining walls of the cottage, a hypnotic drumbeat measuring the final, heavy stages of your wakefulness. The sound of the enchanted stream is now slightly muffled, taking a step back to become a continuous, bubbling murmur in the background. In its place, the gentle night breeze rustles through the thick ivy clinging to the ruins, creating a soft, sweeping whisper that sounds like the forest itself is taking a long, deep breath. You stand just outside the open doorway, bathing in the warm light of the lantern, completely enveloped by this symphony of soothing, nocturnal sounds. You step slowly through the open doorway, crossing the threshold into the heart of the ruined sanctuary. Because the wooden roof has long since returned to the earth, the interior of the cottage is completely open to the vast majesty of the night sky. The heavens have become the new ceiling of this forest home. You look up past the dark, mossy silhouettes of the remaining wooden rafters and lose yourself in the breathtaking expanse of dark indigo and twinkling silver starlight. The air inside the stone walls is incredibly still and protective, holding onto the faint, sweet warmth of the lantern light. You find a smooth, moss-covered stone bench near the center of the room and slowly lower yourself down to rest. The solid stone supports your heavy limbs perfectly. You close your eyes for a long moment, simply breathing in the profound silence of this forgotten place. Out here, deep within the heart of the enchanted woods, time is a completely meaningless concept. There are no hours to count, no mornings to rush toward, and no past to regret. There is only the infinite peaceful present, wrapping around you like a thick, heavy blanket of starlight and shadow. As you sit quietly within the ruined walls, your physical body feels entirely weighted to the earth, grounded in a state of absolute, unbreakable peace. The journey has taken you far away from the anxieties of the waking world, leading you into a sanctuary where nothing is required of you. You open your heavy eyelids just a fraction, letting the visual world blur into a soft watercolor painting of deep nighttime blues, earthy greens, and the gentle golden haze of the eternal lantern. The dancing fireflies that have gathered within the ruins seem to move in slow motion, tracing hypnotic, glowing paths through the cool air. You give yourself complete permission to let go of the final threads of your conscious control. You are safe in this ancient, reclaimed cottage. The protective trees stand guard all around you, the gentle stream sings its endless lullaby just outside the door, and the warm amber light watches over you with a benevolent, timeless grace. Surrender to the heaviness in your limbs. Surrender to the quietness of your mind. Let the peaceful, overgrown ruins hold you safely as you drift ever closer to the deepest, most restorative sleep. You slowly rise from the moss-covered stone bench leaving the warm, eternal amber glow of the ruined cottage behind you. The transition is gentle, a seamless continuation of your journey deeper into the heart of the ancient wold. You step gracefully back across the weathered threshold, your boots leaving the solid stone path to reconnect with the soft, forgiving earth of the forest floor. The golden light of the solitary lantern gradually fades into the distance, returning you to the profound, cooling embrace of the nocturnal shadows. As you continue forward, you begin to notice a subtle shift in the architecture of the woods. The colossal trunks of the oak and pine trees, which have stood shoulder to shoulder for centuries, slowly begin to step back, widening the path before you. The dense, interlocking canopy overhead, once a thick roof of dark needles and intertwining branches, begins to part and fragment. Through these widening gaps in the foliage, a new, entirely different quality of light begins to filter down. It is not the warm, earthy gold of the fireflies or the lantern, but a pure, ethereal silver. You follow this radiant beacon, walking slowly and deliberately, feeling the anticipation of a grand, open space waiting just beyond the final line of trees. Parting the last few massive, drooping fern fronds, you emerge from the dense timber into a breathtaking, wide circular glade. Here, the forest has completely surrendered its territory to the sky. The ceiling of the world is suddenly vast, open, and overwhelmingly majestic. High above, the full moon reigns supreme in the deep, rich indigo heavens, casting a powerful, unbroken shaft of pure silver light directly into the center of the clearing. This celestial illumination washes over the landscape, transforming the ordinary into the magical. The colors of the glade are painted in the most soothing, muted tones imaginable. Soft, sky-blue grays, ethereal silvers, and deep, velvety purples. The surrounding trees, now standing in a perfect silent ring at the very edge of the clearing, are reduced to pitch-black, stylized silhouettes, their dark forms providing a stunning visual contrast that frames this moonlit sanctuary. Standing at the edge of this vast, open space, you feel an immediate, profound sense of release. The feeling of being pleasantly enclosed by the forest is replaced by an incredible sensation of expansive, boundless peace. The sheer scale of the open sky above you gently dwarfs all remaining worldly concerns, rendering them entirely insignificant in the face of the universe's quiet majesty. You take your first steps into the glade, and the physical sensation is unlike anything you have experienced on this journey thus far. The clearing is filled with wild, untamed forest grass that has grown remarkably tall, reaching almost to your waist. As you wade forward, the grass parts effortlessly before you, yielding to your movements like the waters of a dry, silver ocean. The blades are incredibly soft and cool to the touch, brushing gently against your hands and the heavy wool of your medieval cloak. Because the ground beneath this thick silver carpet is entirely composed of soft, loamy earth, your footsteps become almost entirely silent. You are no longer crunching on moss or tapping on stone. You are simply gliding, a silent, weightless shadow moving gracefully through a sea of silver. This cessation of your own acoustic footprint is deeply hypnotic. Without the rhythmic sound of your walking to anchor you to the physical earth, you begin to feel wonderfully untethered. Your physical body feels incredibly heavy, safe, and ready for rest, while your mind feels incredibly light, floating freely upon the cool night air. The grass sways around you in slow, mesmerizing waves, encouraging your own thoughts to simply drift without direction or purpose. Listen closely to the unique, exquisite symphony of the moonlit glade. Without the dense trees to block its path, the night wind sweeps freely across the open clearing. As it rushes through the millions of tall grass blades, it creates a long, slow, and continuous sigh. It sounds exactly like the distant, comforting whispers of old guardians, ancient spirits of the wold who are watching over the forest and ensuring your absolute safety. This sound is the very definition of natural white noise, a sweeping, breathy wave of audio that effortlessly masks any stray, anxious thoughts trying to enter your consciousness. It rises and falls with a slow, languid rhythm, perfectly mimicking the deep, restorative breathing of a slumbering giant. Your own respiration naturally, inevitably synchronizes with this gentle rhythm. You inhale deeply, drawing in the crisp, clean night air that is completely empty of the heavy dampness of the deep woods. You exhale slowly, releasing a long, invisible sigh that joins the wind in the silver grass. In this specific space, the Brothers Grimm's concept of benevolent nature is fully realized. You are entirely protected by the celestial light above and the soft earth below, cradled in the very center of a magical, quiet universe. You pause in the very center of the glade, allowing yourself to simply stand still and absorb the absolute serenity of the moment. You tilt your head back, closing your eyes lightly, and let the cool, silver moonlight fall directly upon your face. Unlike the harsh, demanding rays of the midday sun, this light is infinitely gentle, carrying a soothing, almost liquid quality that seems to wash away the accumulated fatigue of your long journey. The muscles in your brow smooth out completely. The tension in your jaw dissolves. You feel a warm, heavy blanket of relaxation draping over your shoulders and flowing all the way down to your fingertips. Standing here, bathed in silver and surrounded by the endless whispering of the grass, you are completely disconnected from the rushing, modern world. There are no expectations here. There is absolutely nothing you need to achieve, nothing you need to solve, and nothing you need to remember. You are just a quiet soul, resting peacefully in a forgotten, enchanted clearing. As the wind blows softly once more, you feel a profound, overwhelming urge to surrender entirely to the night. Your eyelids are incredibly heavy now, sealing shut with a comfortable finality. You will soon leave this glade to find your ultimate resting place, but for now, you let the moonlight and the gentle whispers rock your mind into a state of deep, unbreakable tranquility. You drift slowly through the final swaying waves of the silver-lit grass, leaving the vast open expanse of the moonlit glade behind you. The transition back into the gentle embrace of the trees is seamless and comforting. The colossal, ancient pines and stoic oaks step forward once again, gathering around the edges of the path like old, protective friends returning to your side. The canopy above does not close entirely, but rather weaves a loose, beautiful tapestry of dark needles and silver starlight, creating a dappled, mesmerizing pattern of light and shadow on the ground before you. As the rustling whispers of the familiar, soothing melody rises to take its place, it is the enchanted brook, the loyal, glowing waterway that has been your constant guide. The air cools slightly, carrying that pure yet untainted scent of fresh water and damp earth. You follow the gentle curve of the riverbank, your footsteps returning to the soft, forgiving moss. You are moving deeper into the sanctuary of the night, feeling incredibly safe, remarkably heavy, and perfectly content in this quiet isolation. Just ahead, spanning the width of the dark, glowing stream, an extraordinary structure slowly reveals itself in the dim, ethereal light. It is an ancient, graceful, forgotten masterpiece of pre-industrial craftsmanship that seems to have grown directly out of the forest floor. The stones are huge, heavy, and smoothed down by countless centuries of weather and the quiet passage of time. They are arranged in a perfect, sweeping curve that arcs elegantly over the water. But the bridge is no longer just cold, grey rock. It has been entirely reclaimed by the benevolent magic of the wold. a thick, vibrant layer of velvet-like moss carpets every inch of the masonry, softening its edges and turning the structure into a living, breathing part of the woodland architecture. Thick tendrils brushing gently against the surface of the stream. In the soft, diffused moonlight, the mossy bridge glows with a subtle, earthy richness, contrasting beautifully against the deep, cool indigo and teal shadows of the surrounding trees. It stands as a profound symbol of transition, a safe passage carrying you from the active journey of the evening into the final, passive realms of deep slumber. You approach the base of the ancient bridge, feeling a deep, instinctual pull to cross over to the other side. As you take your first step onto the structure, the terrain beneath your worn leather boots changes once again. The soft by the solid, unyielding surface of the old stone pavers. The acoustic landscape of your journey responds immediately, shifting into a new, incredibly grounding rhythm. With every slow, deliberate step you take up the gentle incline, a soft, muffled tapping echoes around you. It is a dull, resonant sound, heavy and comforting, anchoring your wandering mind firmly to the present moment. Beneath you, the auditory profile of the stream changes as well. As the water flows through the narrow stone archway of the bridge, its playful babbling becomes deeper, more hollow, and immensely resonant. The sound bounces, creating a continuous, rhythmic thrumming that vibrates gently through the soles of your boots and up into your tired legs. It is an acoustic cocoon, wrapping you in a steady, hypnotic vibration that practically massages the tension right out of your muscles. You walk slowly, letting gravity and the gentle slope of the bridge guide you until you reach the very apex of the stone arch. Here, suspended exactly halfway between the two banks, you come to a complete, peaceful halt. You turn to face the edge, resting your hands gently upon the thick, moss-covered parapet. The stone is incredibly cool and grounding beneath your palms. Forest. You lean forward slightly, allowing your heavy gaze to fall down toward the dark, gentle water below. Because the stream widens as it passes under the bridge, the current here slows to an absolute crawl. The water is so still, so impossibly calm, that it ceases to look like a flowing river and instead becomes a flawless, liquid mirror. Gazing down into this dark, obsidian glass, you are met with a breathtaking reflection. The stream perfectly captures the vast, majestic canvas of the night sky above. The deep, rich purples and indigos of the cosmos, scattered with countless twinkling silver stars, all floating peacefully on the surface of the water. The glowing amber fireflies that dance near the riverbank are reflected as well, creating a dazzling, multi-layered constellation of light beneath you. Staring down into this perfect reflection, the boundaries of the world begin to dissolve. The horizon vanishes. There is no longer a clear distinction between the sky above and the earth below, between the heavens and the deep waters. You are completely surrounded by stars, suspended in the very center of a quiet, infinite universe. Harmony of this moment acts as a powerful lullaby for your overactive mind. The continuous slow-motion rippling of the water gently distorts the starlight, stretching and bending the silver reflections in a mesmerizing hypnotic dance. As you watch these slow, liquid movements, your own thoughts begin to stretch, slow down, and finally drift away. You feel a profound, overwhelming sense of unity with the sleeping world. The physical weight of your body seems to double, your eyelids becoming too heavy to keep open. The steady, hollow echoing of the stream beneath the bridge hums a continuous note of absolute safety. You take a night air, filling your lungs with peace, and as you exhale, you let go of the very last threads of your waking consciousness. You are ready to cross over. You are ready to sleep. As you take your final, deliberate step off the moss-draped stones of the ancient arched bridge, your boots return to the remarkably soft, yielding earth of the forest floor. You have crossed over the dark, mirrored water, leaving the open, celestial vastness of the moonlit glade far behind you. The path leads you gently downward into a particularly dense, deeply sheltered grove within the very heart of the wold. Here, the colossal pine and oak trees grow closer together, their massive trunks forming a tight, protective circle that completely shields this inner sanctum. The canopy overhead is incredibly thick, a woven tapestry of heavy branches that filters the silver moonlight down to a faint, ethereal dusting of pale blue and violet. The air in this enclosed space is wonderfully still and noticeably warmer, holding on to the rich, earthy heat of the soil. The babbling of the enchanted stream now softly fades into the distance, muffled by the dense foliage until it becomes nothing more than a low, comforting hum at the very edge of your awareness. You are moving into the secluded depths of the night, where time simply ceases to exist. With every slow, measured step you take into this dark sanctuary is less than #0. 5 hashes greater than you become acutely aware of a profound, encompassing stillness. This is not the tense, expectant silence of a wilderness filled with hidden dangers, but rather the heavy, contented quiet of a world that is already fast asleep. In the old, forgotten tales collected by the Brothers Grimm, the deep woods were often depicted as places of peril, where wild beasts roamed and travellers fended for themselves against unpredictable forces. But in this curated, magical realm, the sharp edges of the wild have been smoothed away, is less than #0. 5 hash is greater than. The forest is not a place of fear, but an absolute refuge, a maternal enclosure that offers shelter to all who wander within its boundaries. As you glide silently over the velvet moss, you realize that you are not alone. You are surrounded by the gentle, slumbering inhabitants of the fairy tale wold, sharing their hidden sanctuary and partaking in their profound, unbroken peace. Parting a thick, weeping curtain of dark green ferns, you pause and stand completely still. Just a few yards ahead, nestled perfectly within a naturally formed bed of incredibly soft, dry leaves and feathery moss, lies a family of wild deer. They sleep peacefully, entirely undisturbed by your quiet arrival. The faint, magical blue and warm purple ambient light of the grove highlights the gentle, graceful curves of their resting bodies. Among them is a tiny, spotted fawn, curled up tightly against its mother. Looking at the innocent creature, you might recall the classic tale of the brother who is transformed into a fawn. After drinking from an enchanted woodland stream, resting his weary head upon his sister's lap in the lonely wilderness. But here, in this sanctuary, there are no wicked curses, no relentless hunters, and no need to flee at the sound of a horn. These majestic creatures are completely safe, surrendered entirely to the restorative power of the night. If the untamed creatures of the forest feel safe enough to sleep so deeply in the open, you know with absolute certainty that you can let go of your own defenses. You remain frozen in place, your worn medieval leather boots rooted silently in the damp earth. All physical forward movement ceases. You do not wish to disturb this perfect slumbering menagerie, so you simply stand and observe, letting the intense tranquility of the scene wash over your tired mind. Because your own footsteps have stopped, the acoustic landscape of the forest simplifies into something incredibly pure and hypnotic. Beneath the faint, distant rushing of the wind in the high canopy, a new, highly rhythmic sound emerges from the shadows. It is the slow, deep and incredibly steady breathing of the sleeping animals. You hear the long, drawn-out inhalation of air filling their large lungs, followed by the heavy, relaxed exhalation that rustles the dry leaves ever so slightly. It is a continuous, mesmerizing cycle, a natural metronome that measures the slow, heavy pulse of the sleeping earth itself. This sound is a powerful, primal trigger for your own nervous system, an acoustic lullaby that speaks directly to the most exhausted parts of your brain. As you listen intently to the deep, resonant respiration of the deer family, an involuntary, sympathetic response begins to take hold within your own body. Without any conscious effort, you find your own breathing naturally slowing down to match their languid, heavy rhythm. You take a long, slow breath in through your nose, drawing the cool, pine-scented night air deep into your chest, matching the exact duration of the sleeping creatures before you. Then you release the air in a long, incredibly slow sigh, feeling a massive wave of physical tension wash out of your muscles and drain down into the earth. With each synchronized breath, your heart rate steadily drops. The tightness in your jaw completely melts away. Your shoulders sink heavily toward the ground, and your arms hang loosely at your sides. You are experiencing the profound somatic comfort of shared rest. The physical heaviness in your limbs is now wonderfully overwhelming, a comfortable lethargy that makes the idea of moving seem impossible. You are anchored to this spot, bathing in the hypnotic rhythm of the forest's breath. Your heavy eyelids droop, narrowing your vision to a soft, blurred painting of dark colors. Through this hazy perspective, you observe the rest of the silent grove. Everywhere you look, the forest is at rest. Small creatures are tucked away safely within the hollows of the ancient oak roots, their tiny breaths adding to the collective hum of slumber. High above, the canopy acts as a heavy, protective blanket. Small, warm, amber fireflies drift lazily through the cool air, moving at an incredibly slow pace. They pulse with a soft, dying glow, like fading embers of a hearth fire. These tiny lanterns assure you that the darkness is friendly, wrapping around you like a thick woolen cloak. The air feels heavy with the promise of dreams, pressing against your skin and encouraging you to surrender your hold on the waking world. You have become an integral, seamless part of this sleeping menagerie, ready to drift away into the timeless dark. Leaving the slumbering menagerie behind, you drift silently forward, stepping away from the dense thicket of ferns and the soft breathing of the sleeping deer. The path before you begins to subtly change, leading you deeper into a remarkably secluded, magical pocket of the ancient wold. The immense, sheltering silhouettes of the giant oak and pine trees still rise around you, but the air between their trunks seems to hum with a new, gentle energy. Here, the darkness of the deep night is no longer an empty void. It is a canvas coming alive with the most delicate illumination. Emerging slowly from the velvet shadows, hundreds of slow-moving golden fireflies reveal themselves, drifting lazily through the cool, still air. In the folklore of the ancient woods, these glowing creatures are seen as otherworldly sparks of light, carrying an almost transcendental beauty that bridges the gap between the earthly forest and the heavens. They move without haste, rising and falling in a hypnotic dance that perfectly mimics the steady heartbeat of the sleeping world. Their soft amber light is not harsh. It is a warm, pulsing glow that provides a profound sense of comfort, pushing back the cool indigo shadows and wrapping you in an atmosphere of absolute safety. As your eyes adjust to this living constellation, you realize that the fireflies are not the only source of light. The forest floor itself is quietly participating in this luminous display. Growing in thick, luxurious clusters alongside the winding mossy path are large, drooping bellflowers that seem to exhale their very own light. They do not merely reflect the ambient glow of the fireflies. They radiate a soft, warm, and pulsing luminescence from deep within their translucent petals. The entire clearing feels like a wondrous, glowing forest, straight out of an old fairy tale, where the vegetation itself holds the secrets of ancient magic. The colours here are incredibly soothing, a perfect lo-fi palette of muted earthy greens and rich night blues, punctuated by these stunning pockets of golden warmth. Looking closer at the glowing bellflowers, you notice delicate veins illuminated from behind, like a masterful, hand-drawn watercolour painting. The steady, slow pulsation of the floral light acts as a visual metronome for your exhausted mind. With every gentle swell of golden illumination, you feel a corresponding wave of heavy relaxation washing over your physical body. The sensation of moving through this glowing environment is entirely effortless, as if you are floating slowly down a gentle river of warm light. The physical weight of your medieval leather boots and homespun woolen cloak has transformed from a grounding presence into a profoundly comforting heaviness, much like the embrace of a thick, weighted blanket. Your muscles are completely slack, your jaw is unclenched, and the tension in your neck and shoulders has dissolved entirely into the cool night air. You drift past a towering oak tree, its rough bark catching the soft amber light of a drifting firefly, revealing the clean lines of its weather-beaten surface. Watching the slow, graceful flight of these tiny lanterns encourages your mind's eye to follow their hypnotic, meandering paths. This continuous, slow-motion tracking effortlessly tires the brain, gently disengaging it from the rapid, logical processing of the waking hours and easing it into the surreal logic of the dream world. You are completely untethered from your past and your future, existing solely in this beautiful, glowing present where time itself seems to have gently fallen asleep. It is an experience of profound, unbothered observation. The gentle magic of the forest is wrapping around your consciousness, softly dimming the lights of your active mind, just as the passing clouds might temporarily obscure the silver face of the moon above. Listen deeply into the space around you, and you will notice that the acoustic landscape has become incredibly sparse and remarkably profound. The familiar sound of your own footsteps has vanished completely, swallowed by the unimaginably thick carpet of moss and fallen leaves. The babbling of the enchanted stream, which guided you so faithfully through the earlier parts of your journey, has quieted to a very distant, almost imperceptible murmur. In this deeply secluded part of the world, the ambient sound consists only of a very low, warm, and highly resonant drone. It is the collective resting frequency of the ancient forest itself, simulating the physical sensation of being enveloped in heavy, protective air. Occasionally, this absolute stillness is punctuated by the impossibly faint, delicate brushing of a firefly's wing against a fern frond, or the soft rustle of a leaf settling onto the earth. These minuscule sounds do not break the silence, rather they emphasize its immense, comforting depth. You find yourself inhaling the sweet, earthy fragrance of the glowing bellflowers, allowing the scent to completely fill your lungs, and then exhaling the very last remnants of your wakefulness. As you near the end of this luminous corridor, the path begins to widen, gently guiding you toward the final destination of your evening's journey. The hundreds of golden fireflies gather together in the air ahead, forming a soft, swirling cloud of amber light that illuminates the edge of a Matisla unseen opening. You can feel the distinct change in the atmosphere. The heavy, enclosed warmth of the dense woods is giving way to a crisp, expansive coolness that signals the presence of a vast, open valley. The pulsing light of the bellflowers slowly begins to fade as they merge with the shadows at the forest's edge, leaving the fireflies to light the final few steps. You are poised on the very threshold of profound, unbroken slumber, standing comfortably at the absolute edge of the known world. Every physical sensation, from the softness of the moss beneath your tired boots to the gentle, rhythmic breeze brushing against your cheek, is urging you to finally close your eyes and completely let go. The journey through the glowing flora has completely cleansed your mind of all remaining worldly worry, leaving behind a tranquil, empty vessel, perfectly ready to be filled with peaceful dreams. The night has fully claimed you, and you surrender willingly to its endless peace. As you step beyond the final threshold of the ancient, towering trees, the protective canopy above you finally parts completely, giving way to an unimaginably vast and open expanse. The dense, enclosed warmth of the glowing forest path dissolves, replaced by the crisp, immensely refreshing chill of the open valley air. You have reached a hidden geographical masterpiece, a secret pocket of the world that has remained untouched by human hands since the dawn of time. Before you lies a colossal basin, cradled on all sides by the dark, sloping shoulders of the forested mountains. The sheer scale of this sudden openness is breathtaking, yet it does not overwhelm you. Instead, it invites a profound sense of liberation. The invisible walls of your daily life, the restrictive boundaries of your waking anxieties, are instantly shattered, scattering like dust on the gentle night wind. You take a slow, expansive breath, feeling your lungs fill to their absolute capacity with the purest, most crystalline air you have ever tasted. The golden fireflies that guided you here disperse slowly into the cool night, leaving you to marvel at the sheer, majestic emptiness of this secluded nocturnal paradise. At the very heart of this immense valley rests a magnificent, sprawling forest lake. In the deep, silent hours of the night, the wind across the valley floor ceases entirely, allowing the surface of the water to settle into a state of absolute, flawless stillness. It is no longer a body of water, but a colossal, dark mirror of polished obsidian stretched wide across the earth. Because the water is so perfectly calm, the horizon line completely disappears. The rich indigo tapestry of the night sky, heavily scattered with millions of soft silver stars, is reflected with absolute clarity upon the lake's surface. Looking out over the water, you are met with an illusion of infinite space. The starry sky above and the starry sky below merge into one continuous, unbroken sphere of cosmic light and deep, velvety darkness. It feels as though you are standing on the very edge of the universe itself, entirely surrounded by the gentle, silent twinkling of ancient constellations. You slowly begin to walk along the sweeping curve of the shoreline, your physical movements slowing down to an almost imperceptible crawl. The terrain beneath your medieval leather boots has transitioned from the damp, mossy earth into a remarkably soft, yielding bed of fine, silver sand. With every step, your boots sink slightly into the cool sand, grounding you firmly to the edge of this mirrored infinity. Here, walking between the two starry skies, you experience a wondrous feeling of weightlessness. Your body, though physically tired and delightfully heavy with the need for rest, feels as if it could simply float away into the vast indigo expanse. You drag your footsteps slightly, pulling the heavy woolen fabric of your cloak across the sand, relishing the slow, rhythmic, and incredibly satisfying friction it creates. You are in no rush to reach the end of the shore. The act of walking itself has become a slow-motion meditation, a physical lullaby lulling you deeper into absolute tranquility. The acoustic landscape of the valley is a masterpiece of minimalist perfection. The dense, sweeping white noise of the wind in the high pine canopy is now miles behind you, reduced to a forgotten memory. In this vast open space, the silence is immense and deeply profound. The only sound that exists in this entire world is the incredibly slow, rhythmic lapping of the lake water against the sandy shore. Because the lake is so large and the air so still, the miniature waves arrive at the shoreline with long, languid pauses between them. It is a slow, resonant hush, followed by 10 seconds of absolute silence, and then another gentle hush. This incredibly spaced-out rhythm perfectly mimics the slow, delta brainwaves of a mind that has already crossed over into the deepest stages of human sleep. As you walk along the edge of the water, you naturally align your own breathing to this ancient, aquatic metronome. You inhale deeply during the long silence, and you exhale completely as the water softly washes over the silver sand. Pausing your slow progression along the beach, you turn to face the center of the lake, staring directly into the heart of the mirrored cosmos. In the romantic traditions of the old German tales, to stand before the vastness of nature was to experience a beautiful, ego-dissolving harmony with the universe. As you gaze into the infinite depth of the starlit water, you feel the final, stubborn layers of your waking identity begin to melt away. The worries of tomorrow, the regrets of yesterday, the endless lists and the heavy responsibilities, they all lose their grip on your mind, slipping away to sink harmlessly into the dark, bottomless water. You are no longer defined by your burdens. In this suspended, timeless moment, you are simply a peaceful observer, a quiet, breathing entity perfectly integrated into the sleeping landscape. You feel a profound, overwhelming sense of unity with the earth, the water, and the stars. The universe is holding you in its vast, gentle hands, assuring you that you are entirely safe to let go of your conscious control. A profound, undeniable heaviness now settles permanently into your bones. Your eyelids flutter, struggling to stay open against the overwhelming, hypnotic peace of the valley. The silver light of the stars blurs into long, soft streaks of illumination as your vision naturally softens and dims. Just ahead, at the far edge of the curved shoreline, the dark silhouettes of a cluster of ancient weeping willow trees begin to emerge from the shadows. Their long, sweeping branches drape gracefully over the calm water, creating a natural, sheltered sanctuary that beckons to your exhausted spirit. You know, with a deep and comforting certainty, that your long journey through the enchanted world is finally coming to an end. You gather the last remnants of your physical energy to take the final few steps toward this secluded resting place. The night air wraps around you like a heavy velvet cloak, and the slow, rhythmic breathing of the lake whispers a final, encouraging lullaby. You are perfectly ready to surrender to the darkness and let the starlit waters carry you away into an endless slumber. The long and winding path along the starlit lake slowly begins to curve inward, guiding your tired footsteps away from the open silver sand and back toward the sheltering embrace of the ancient timber. You are entering the final, most secluded sanctuary of the world, a place so perfectly hidden that the waking world could never hope to find it. This is the ultimate refuge, a secret haven curated by the benevolent magic of the forest, designed specifically for the weary traveler at the end of their long journey. The air here is incredibly still, insulated completely from the sweeping winds of the high valley, holding on to the rich, comforting warmth of the earth and the sweet, mineral scent of the undisturbed lake. With every slow, deliberate step you take, you feel the remaining energetic echoes of the day draining out through the soles of your boots and sinking harmlessly into the soft, yielding ground. You are completely safe here, enveloped in the quiet, maternal protection of the natural world. Looming gently in the dim, ethereal moonlight just ahead is the magnificent silhouette of an ancient weeping willow tree. Unlike the towering stoic pines or the massive rigid oaks you passed earlier, the willow is a portrait of graceful surrender. Its countless, slender branches cascade downward from the heavy trunk like a silent waterfall of dark foliage, sweeping the surface of the earth and lightly brushing the mirrored surface of the lake. These sweeping branches create a flawless, natural curtain, forming a spacious, dome-like chamber beneath the canopy. You part the soft, hanging leaves with a gentle hand and step inside this hidden room. The interior is wonderfully dark and cozy, illuminated only by the faint, indirect silver glow reflecting off the water outside. The ground within this wooden sanctuary is carpeted in the thickest, most luxurious bed of deep green moss you have encountered on your entire journey. It is a natural mattress, cultivated over centuries of quiet growth, waiting patiently for you to arrive and lay your burdens down. You step into the very center of the willow's protective dome and finally allow your forward momentum to cease entirely. The journey is over. There is nowhere else to walk, no further destination to seek, and absolutely nothing left to achieve. With a long, slow sigh of profound relief, you slowly lower yourself down onto the mossy forest floor. The earth rises up to meet you, incredibly soft and supportive, contouring perfectly to the tired muscles of your back and shoulders. You pull your heavy, homespun medieval woolen cloak tightly around your body, transforming the historical garment into a thick, warm, and insulating blanket. The sheer physical weight of the fabric presses down upon you, providing a deep, somatic comfort that signals your nervous system to release its final, stubborn grip on wakefulness. Gravity takes full possession of your limbs. Your arms rest heavily at your sides, and your legs sink deeply into the velvet moss. You feel delightfully paralyzed by peace, anchored securely to the heart of the sleeping world. Lying completely still in your natural bed, you gaze out through the parted curtain of the willow branches. From this sheltered vantage point, the vast open valley looks like a magnificent, moving painting. The perfectly still lake stretches out before you, acting as a flawless, dark obsidian mirror that perfectly duplicates the starry heavens above. The horizon line is completely erased, leaving you with the breathtaking illusion that you are resting on a small, mossy island floating gently in the very center of the cosmos. A few lingering golden fireflies, the magical lampierides that guided you through the deeper woods, drift lazily over the water's surface. Their soft, pulsing amber light reflects in the dark mirror below, doubling their warm, comforting glow. They move with an incredibly slow, languid rhythm, tracing hypnotic, winding paths through the cool night air before finally settling onto the drooping willow leaves to sleep. Their fading light is a gentle reminder that all things must eventually rest. The acoustic environment of this secluded sanctuary is a masterpiece of absolute, unbroken serenity. The dense curtain of willow branches acts as a profound acoustic insulator, muffling even the faintest, distant sounds of the ancient wold until they are nothing more than a warm, vibrating hum. You are wrapped in a cocoon of protective silence. The only distinct sound that reaches your ears is the incredibly slow, rhythmic lapping of the lake water gently meeting the shoreline just a few feet away. Because the lake is so vast and the air so completely still, the tiny ripples arrive with long, mesmerizing pauses between them. It is a soft, liquid hush, followed by a vast expanse of silence, and then another gentle hush. This slow, aquatic metronome perfectly mirrors the delta brainwaves of a mind that has already crossed over into the deepest, most restorative stages of human sleep. You find yourself listening intently to the spaces between the sounds, letting the immense quiet stretch your thoughts until they become thin, fragile, and utterly transparent. In this space of absolute stillness, the final, persistent layers of your waking identity begin to peacefully dissolve. The romantic philosophy of the old German tales often viewed the deep forest as a place of profound healing and spiritual restoration, a natural realm where the fractured pieces of the human soul could be reunited and made whole again. As you lie cradled in the roots of the weeping willow, you experience this beautiful, ego-dissolving harmony. The memories of yesterday and the obligations of tomorrow slip away from your consciousness, sinking like stones into the bottomless, starlit lake. You are no longer defined by your worries, your titles, or your tasks. In this suspended, timeless moment, you are simply a quiet, breathing entity, perfectly integrated into the sleeping landscape. You are a part of the moss, a part of the tree, a part of the ancient, enduring earth. The universe is holding you in its vast, gentle hands, assuring you with absolute certainty that it is finally safe to let go of your conscious control. A profound, undeniable heaviness now settles permanently into your bones, a comfortable lethargy that makes the mere thought of moving seem impossible. Your eyelids, already drooping, become impossibly heavy, fluttering weakly before finally surrendering to the overwhelming hypnotic peace of the sanctuary. The silver light of the reflected stars blurs into long, soft streaks of illumination as your vision naturally softens and dims. The darkness behind your closed eyes is not an empty void, but a warm, welcoming space, a soft velvet curtain falling gracefully over your mind. Your breathing slows down even further, aligning perfectly with the languid, spaced-out rhythm of the lake water lapping against the shore. You inhale deeply, drawing in the sweet, earthy scent of the moss and the cool, untainted air of the night. You exhale completely, releasing the very last, microscopic fragment of tension from your body. The boundary between your physical self and the surrounding forest fades away entirely. You are drifting now, untethered from the waking world, floating gently on a calm, invisible current of deep relaxation. The quiet magic of the ancient world has successfully guided you through the shadows, offering you refuge, beauty, and absolute protection. The gentle guardian spirits of the forest are watching over you, ensuring that nothing will disturb your rest. The weeping willow stands as a silent, powerful sentinel, its sweeping branches wrapping you in a timeless embrace. Let the soft darkness hold you. Let the rhythmic, distant water sing you to sleep. There is nothing left to think about, nothing left to do. You are entirely safe, entirely at peace, and entirely ready. Allow yourself to sink deeper, deeper, and deeper still into the comforting void. The journey is complete, and the restorative power of the night has fully claimed you. Drift away now into the deepest, most beautiful, and unbroken slumber.